But then
By the time he figured out what was really going down, it was already too late. The trap had snapped shut, and the setup was real. This story dives deep into Offset, Wack100, and a pile of millions that somebody clearly isn't keeping it real about. This is where shady contracts, broken loyalty, and the music industry's smooth-talking tricks all crash together with force. Before jumping into the Wack100 and Offset mess, we gotta understand how dirty this business can really get. There's one thing about the rap game that most people totally miss, and ignoring it can cost you. The business side of this world isn't just cold, it's deep freeze cold. Offset knows that better than almost anybody. He's been through the grind, fought through the chaos, and came out sharper than ever. People think rappers are just swimming in money, flashing cars, and living wild for the camera, but that's just a show. Behind the screens and off social media is a whole different game full of contracts, pressure, and survival moves. The truth hits way harder than people expect. It's cold, twisted, and nothing like the dream they sell. Behind the scenes, labels and managers move like chess masters, plotting every step, while artists out here thinking it's just a quick game of checkers. They use ambition, hunger, and big dreams like bait, trapping people in contracts that feel like they last a lifetime out. And that's exactly how the trap catches him. When Offset sat down on Club Shay Shay, he didn't hold back for a second. He straight up broke down how young artists get pulled into deals that haunt them for years. No filters, no soft talk, just the raw truth. Now pay attention, because this is where the real game gets exposed, and everyone watching needs to understand exactly who Offset really is. What Offset explained right here sets the tone for everything we're about to break down. No shortcuts, no smoke and mirrors, just straight up truth. He's pulling the curtain back on how the industry really works when the cameras are off and the doors are shut. And this right here shows exactly why people started whispering about possible tension with Wack100 the moment this story hit the streets. Wack's name has been floating around for years, with people accusing him of running the same type of slick business moves that major labels have been using forever, just rewrapped in a different style. He's been called out for using that same old industry playbook, just with his own twist. Did you catch that part? Because what Offset revealed right there is the core of this entire finesse. The album drops, the streams go crazy, the label rakes in $2 or $3 million off the project, and even after they recover what they advanced, the artist's still buried in debt. Every little thing, studio time, flights, promo, music videos, it all gets charged back to the artist's account. It's wild how fast that dream turns into a trap. That's exactly how the trap stays alive. It's the same setup that's been running strong since the Motown days, and it's still catching artists even now. This whole system connects directly to Wack100 and why so many people were quick to believe the stories about him finessing artists. Wack's been in the game for decades, managing big names and keeping himself locked into powerful West Coast circles. He's that guy who knows everybody, and everybody definitely knows him. But when it comes to contracts and business deals, his reputation's been under fire for years. According to DJ Academics and several industry insiders, people have raised the same concerns over and over again. And every time Wack's name gets mentioned, those questions start flying right back. And here's where it gets wild. Reports claim that Wack100 allegedly signed Blueface to a deal that takes a shocking 70% of his total earnings. 70%? That's not just a contract, that's practically a chokehold on an artist's career. How does something like that even go down? Here's the setup, it's wild. Wack put himself in two seats at once, the label and the manager. As the label, he reportedly pockets 50% of everything Blueface makes, and then as the manager, he allegedly snatches another 20% right off the top. That's a massive cut, and DJ Academic straight up called it what it is. Double dipping. That's not just shady business, it's a clear conflict of interest. Think about it, when the same person is both negotiating your deals and cashing in from them, who's really protecting the artist side? The answer hits hard, nobody. That kind of setup doesn't just look bad, it screams manipulation. But here's where things really start to heat up between Offset and Wack100, and this time it's not about contracts or money on paper. This whole situation gets personal, deeper than most people realize. It's tied to the people closest to both sides, and that's what makes it explosive.
Well, you threatened to expose some information about Offset involving some of the drama with Cardi B.
Who?
You.
So I kept the exposure from happening. You know, I got phone calls from people outside of
Wack100 has had a long-standing connection with Cardi B, one that goes way back before she ever crossed paths with Offset. They've known each other for years, and Wack has always shown her nothing but respect and support. So when Offset and Cardi's public relationship drama started flooding social media and entertainment blogs, Wack got dragged right into the chaos, whether he wanted that smoke or not. Suddenly, the lines between business, loyalty, and personal ties got real blurry. And that's when the tension truly started boiling over. He got pulled straight into their drama, and that's where everything started getting seriously messy. Now check this out, because this part is heavy. Wack100 openly admitted on camera that he was holding on to information that could have seriously damaged Offset's name and reputation. He flat out said he had it, but still chose not to let it hit the public. That wasn't some random act, it was a calculated move. So why would he keep something that explosive locked away? It all ties back to his deep respect for Cardi B and the long-standing bond they've built over the years. That connection runs way back, long before any public drama. But here's the twist. Before Wack decided to hold back that information, he'd already snapped publicly on Offset in a major way. He jumped on his Instagram story and called him out directly, posting, "Lil Weird, a NCO." That post lit up the internet instantly and made everyone wonder what was really going on behind the scenes.
Blaming me for what Blueface is doing. I didn't agree with Blueface for what he did.
What did Blueface do?
Well, he posted, I don't know if it was text messages, pictures, I don't know what it was, right? Of Offset and Rock, Rashawn, around, right? I wake up to it. I guess it's on Twitter somewhere. I don't be on Twitter, I don't know. My phone's going crazy, right? It's Offset. He's telling me, only thing I'm hearing is Blueface. I call Blueface, hey man, what the?
He said it loud and clear. "I told you, keep me out your emotional stuff." But that post alone set the whole situation into overdrive. The temperature shot up instantly, and what came next made things way uglier than anyone expected. Here's where it gets wild. Blueface, Wack's own artist and someone directly under his management, dropped some explosive claims about Offset that had everybody talking. He alleged that Offset had hooked up with Chrisean Rock while still married to Cardi B. That accusation hit social media like a bomb, spreading everywhere in minutes. The timing couldn't have been worse either. Blueface and Chrisean were already dealing with their own chaotic drama, so this new rumor poured gasoline on an already blazing fire. Offset was furious. He reportedly called Wack right away, demanding he get control of his artist and shut the whole thing down before more private details leaked out. But here's the problem. Offset didn't think this was just some random post gone wrong. He believed Wack was behind it, that he'd given Blueface the silent green light to air Offset's private business in public. That's when trust shattered, and the real tension between them exploded into something personal, messy, and dangerously public. But Wack has always stood firm. He swears he had no clue what was going on until everything was already out there blowing up online. By the time he saw it, the rumor had already gone viral, and Blueface was out here making his own moves without checking in first. He was acting on his own time, calling his own shots, and that detail right there really matters. Now here's where the twist hits. Wack100 was actually ready to take a full step back and let Blueface go off. He was prepared to let him spill everything he claimed to know about Offset. At that point, Wack was beyond frustrated, tired of people blaming him for something he never planned, never approved, and didn't even know was happening. Then, out of nowhere, one phone call flipped the whole situation upside down. Cardi B herself reached out to Wack directly, and she didn't hold back. She told him, "We already separated. This really ain't my situation anymore, and I don't want to be pulled into it still." She respectfully asked him to keep things under control and not let the chaos spin any further, all out of respect for their longtime bond. That call hit different for Wack. He agreed to back off completely because of it. And just like that, the tension between Offset, Cardi, and Wack cooled down fast, ending what could have turned into a full-blown industry meltdown. The drama finally cooled off, not because of threats, not from industry pressure, but because Cardi B herself stepped in and called for peace.
What is going on with 42 Dogging you? He clapped back. You said Offset ran his pockets in the studio.
That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said he tried to leave the dice game. Offset wasn't going for it. He went outside. He was walking away.
She was the one who diffused everything with just a few calm words. But let's be real, that whole mess wasn't even the story that kept people talking for years. The streets had been buzzing about something way bigger, way louder, and way more controversial. Now we're diving into the real core of it all. The moment that had everyone in hip-hop debating, denying, and dissecting every detail. The story that's been told, flipped, and argued across podcasts, interviews, and timelines everywhere. The infamous dice game. Yeah, that one. The dice game between Offset and 42 Dugg that allegedly went down inside QC Studios back in 2019. That's where things reportedly took a sharp turn and the tension got real. And guess who was right there that night? Wack100 himself. He's been the loudest voice retelling this story over and over across interviews and podcasts, claiming he saw it all unfold firsthand. According to Wack, what went down during that dice game was the exact moment everything changed, and the energy in the room hasn't been the same since. See, Wack was trying to clear up something major right there. He never said Offset robbed 42 Dugg or took his money. That's not how his version of the story goes at all. What Wack actually said was that Offset got heated because 42 Dugg tried to leave the dice game early, right when it was Offset's turn to roll, and he was on a serious winning streak. That move didn't sit right with him, and that's where the tension started building fast. Now, let's break down Wack's full version of what really went down that night, step by step, so nothing gets twisted. This was back in 2019, the final night of Lil Baby's tour stop in Atlanta, a night that should have just been about music and celebration. Wack had hit up P, yeah, the P, to open the studio so they could lock in and get some music done, keeping the momentum going strong. But what was supposed to be a regular session turned into something way different once the dice came out. For people who don't really know how a dice game works in street culture, here's the deal. It's not just a casual game, it's serious business. When someone's on a hot streak, rolling numbers and stacking wins, you don't just grab your cash and bounce. That's a huge sign of disrespect. The energy around the table is intense, and the code is simple. You stay until the shooters finish their roll. No shortcuts, no slick moves, no sudden exits.
Was that true to you and Sweetie?
No, man. It was a rumor, man, and I feel like it was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. It was something deeper than that. You know what I mean? It was something deeper than that.
And that's exactly what things allegedly got heated. According to Wack's version of the story, that's when the vibe flipped completely. The game got tense, voices rose, and it supposedly turned physical fast. What started as a friendly dice game was suddenly a full-blown scene. Wack says Offset followed 42 Dugg outside, clearly frustrated, and that's when things got tense. According to him, Offset reached toward Dugg's pocket where the money was easy to spot through his tight jeans, and before Dugg could even process what was happening, Offset allegedly swung and landed a clean punch straight to his face. One hit and the whole vibe flipped instantly. The air in the room shifted from fun to pure tension. Wack claims he froze for a moment, silently counting in his head, 1,000, 2,000, waiting to see what would happen next, but nothing did. According to Wack, 42 Dugg didn't swing back, didn't react, didn't say a word. The room stayed quiet, and that silence had everybody confused and on edge. But what happened after that took the story to a whole new level. When 42 Dugg jumped on Instagram Live and called Wack a liar, saying the entire story was fake, Wack didn't just sit back, he made a shocking move. He pulled out what he claimed were direct messages from Offset himself. And here's where it gets wild. Those alleged messages showed Offset backing up Wack's version of events while Dugg was live denying it ever happened. That moment sent the internet into chaos, flipping the entire narrative and leaving fans questioning who was really telling the truth. Offset reportedly messaged Wack asking why 42 Dugg was lying, which made it look like Offset was backing up and co-signing Wack's entire story from that night. That one DM flipped the conversation upside down because it directly clashed with what 42 Dugg was saying in public. Suddenly, people didn't know who to believe. Was Wack exposing the truth, or was something else going on behind the scenes? But Dugg wasn't about to let that version of events stick, not for a second. He jumped right back on Instagram Live, ready to set the record straight and defend his name with everything he had. He came with energy, calling out the story piece by piece, refusing to let anyone paint him like a victim or a liar. And he didn't hold back. 42 Dugg swore on his mother's life that what Wack said was a lie. In street culture, that kind of oath is as real as it gets. You don't throw that out there unless you truly believe you're speaking the truth. Dugg made it clear he didn't lose a single dollar that night. Nobody took anything from him, and he walked away with all his money and every piece of jewelry still shining on him. That was a bold statement to make live on camera with the whole world watching in real time. But 42 Dugg didn't stop there. He didn't just deny the robbery talk, he started hitting it some serious retaliation that allegedly went down after that night. That's the kind of thing that makes everybody pay attention, because when someone says that publicly and stands on it, it carries real weight in the culture. Even DJ Academics had to step in at that point. He admitted the situation was getting shaky fast. Academics, who's known and worked with Wack100 for years, admitted he couldn't fully verify every part of Wack's story anymore. And when someone that close starts questioning details, it throws a whole new shade of doubt over everything. From there, the internet went wild. People started connecting dots that might not even existed, mixing street politics, personal drama, and business pressure to explain why the Migos eventually split. Conspiracy theories flew everywhere, with fans claiming everything was somehow tied together behind the scenes. But Offset wasn't about to let the rumors define his story. He finally decided to speak up and clear the air once and for all. When he sat down to address everything directly, he laid out exactly what went down, what caused the real tension, and what happened after the breakup. It wasn't about dice games or street rumors. It was about truth, loyalty, and finally putting the speculation to rest once and for all. Offset didn't dodge a single question. In 2023, when Keke Palmer asked him straight up about the Migos breakup, he kept it raw, honest, and straight from the heart. No deflecting, no polished PR answers, just pure truth from a man tired of the rumors. When the Breakfast Club morning show broke down his interview piece by piece, they highlighted how Offset finally faced the talk that had been swirling for years. He didn't shy away. He addressed it all head on, clearing the smoke once and for all. Offset revealed that certain business figures were moving behind the scenes, intentionally trying to create tension within the group. He said people were working quietly to divide them, just to keep control over the money and power. That statement flipped the narrative completely, adding a whole new layer to what fans thought they understood. And it all circles right back to what was said at the start of this story. The industry is built to keep artists divided and powerless. The system thrives on keeping them separated, so they can't stand together and fight back against shady contracts and exploitation. Offset saw that exact pattern play out in his own life, even within his own circle. One of the most emotional moments came when he opened up about Takeoff's tragic passing. His tone shifted, his voice cracked, and you could feel the pain. It wasn't just music talk anymore. It was real emotion, straight from someone who lost more than fame could ever replace. That pain had been sitting heavy on Offset's chest for a long time. Silent guilt he never opened up about until that emotional sit-down with Keke Palmer. You could feel the weight behind every word he spoke, like he'd been holding it in for years. Offset admitted the part of him still wonders if he hadn't stepped away to chase his solo path. If he'd stayed and helped fix the business problems within the group, maybe Takeoff wouldn't be in that situation that night. That thought clearly still haunts. Always moved as a unit. How he was the one who could read the room, who knew when to step away before things got messy. But that night, he wasn't there to make that call. And that truth has never stopped echoing in his mind. You could tell it's something he carries with him every single day. And as if that pain wasn't already enough, he had to deal with the internet piling on with reckless rumors. People who had no idea about the real bond between him and Takeoff started spreading lies, claiming they weren't on good terms before Takeoff's passing. Those false stories made the loss even harder, turning grief into a non-stop storm of speculation and judgment. Now, with all of this laid out, the industry finessing, the messy tension involving Cardi B, Blueface, and Wack100, it's clear Offset's story isn't just about fame or music. It's about loyalty, loss, and learning who's really standing with you when everything falls apart. The infamous dice game story, the Migos breakup, and Offset finally speaking his truth. It all comes full circle right here. When it comes to that dice game, Wack100 didn't just talk. He showed what he claimed were direct messages from Offset that backed up his version of events and clashed with what 42 Dugg was saying. Through all that chaos, one thing became clear. Offset was never really beefing with Wack over that story. In fact, he was actually co-signing parts of what Wack said went down that night with Doug. And that detail matters because for a long time, people online twisted the story, thinking it was another industry feud, when really the truth was way more layered. Once that got cleared up, it showed just how fast narratives can spin out of control when social media jumps on half the facts. Before wrapping it all up, there's something Offset said about hip-hop and his place in it that really hits deep. Despite all the drama, the bad contracts, the street tension, the public heartbreak, he still stands proud in the culture. He said he believes in hip-hop, in his roots, and in his role as part of his future. That mindset is different coming from someone who's faced real pressure, loss, and business betrayal, but still keeps pushing forward. Offset's still here, still learning, still moving with purpose. He's evolved through the struggle, sharper than before, turning pain into growth and experience into strength. That kind of growth doesn't just happen by luck, it's earned through hard lessons, real losses, and the kind of experiences that cut deep. Every scar, every mistake, every comeback, Offset's story proves that resilience is what truly defines success. At the end of the day, that's what this whole journey is really about: strength, growth, and surviving a system built to break you. We've broken down every major piece of this wild saga. Offset's raw truth about predatory record deals, Wack100’s detailed breakdown of the infamous dice game, 42 Doug's fiery denial that shook the internet, the tension with Cardi B that turned personal, and the emotional reality behind the Migos split. Every angle connects, every moment matters, and together it paints a full picture of how complicated life in the industry really gets. Now it's your turn to tap in. Drop a comment and let it be known who you believe in this story, Wack or Doug, and tell us what you think. Does the industry still pull the same shady plays Offset talked about from his early days? If you made it this far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this breakdown, and hit that notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. There's way more truth, drama, and insight on the way.